know the rules. He know the rules.
Okay, and I tell him
they don't go in the bedroom.
Understood.
They stay in the living room.
Understood. He put his hands on you, correct?
Title of today's video: a father catches a boy in his daughter's room. Now, the boy's mother confronts the father. We're going to learn a lot of lessons in this particular clip. Not only are we going to see how a man should have responded in this situation, but also understand the destructive nature of some of these single mothers out here that think that they know better, but do their sons injustice. Without further ado,
Put your hands on my son.
Caught him in the bed with my daughter.
They don't give you a right to put your hands on my son.
He know the rules. He know the rules.
Okay, and I tell him the rules, but you, when it comes to my children, you do not put your hands on my child.
They don't go in the bedroom.
Understood.
They stay in the living room.
Understood. He put his hands on you, correct? Do not touch my child anymore. And I wouldn't touch your child. Don't.
I didn't hit him. I didn't hit him. I roughed him up. I threw him out. He knew the rules.
It doesn't matter. You could have spoke to him. You didn't have to touch him. You didn't have to use physical force.
So did you even know who he was? Where he was?
we're going to watch this video again because it was such a short clip. But a couple of things that I noticed is that first and foremost, this obviously is a single mother. Why? Because if not, then it would have been a man confronting the man about this particular situation. Second thing that I noticed, that this is being recorded. And this is strategic. Should this man buck up to her aggressive behavior and or attitude, then he would catch a damn case. Now, I don't think that he should buck up. I think that men should remain stoic within these high intensity, emotional type of situations in order to think clearly to protect himself as well as his family. One more time.
Put your hands on my son.
Caught him in the bed with my daughter.
They don't give you a right to put your hands on my son.
He know the rules. He know the rules.
Okay, and I tell him the rules, but you, when it comes to my children, you do not put your hands on my child.
I find it interesting that she keeps saying put hands on child when generally that means that you fought the child, right? You punched the child. It sounds as if he told them not to go into the bedroom. He still went into the bedroom with his daughter. So the father took the boy by the collar and walked him out of the house because he disrespected the rules. It was a visceral yet controlled reaction. He didn't hit the boy. At this point in the conversation, I would have closed the door in her face and told her to go get his father before I continue this conversation.
Don't go in the bedroom.
Understood.
They stay in the living room.
Understood. He put his hands on you, correct?
Look at him.
Do not touch my child.
Now, notice how she says understood, but the young boy didn't understand. Does that not make sense? So instead of you putting your finger in this man's face that is trying to establish discipline within his household, you don't talk to the boy within the same manner. Now the boy, who's big as shit, by the way, stands back with his arms crossed, being protected by this banshee woman from potential sexual activity. My guess is that she's going to be a grandmother soon, but it won't be by this man's daughter. But the mother of the child won't be his daughter
anymore. And I wouldn't touch your child. Don't.
I didn't hit him. I didn't hit him. I roughed him up. I threw him out. He knew the rules.
It doesn't matter. You could have spoke to him. You didn't have to touch him.
Absolutely. This is dirty single mother behavior, harboring a future son husband in this young boy, protecting him by any means necessary from the discipline of a man. With no structure, they remain unguided and increases the chances of becoming a statistic later on in life. And for what? All because she's throwing everything out of the window to protect somebody that was wrong. Why? Because it's just your son. If your son cannot respect the rules, then your son does not deserve respectful treatment. And there's going to be consequences for disrespecting the rules. And for all the ladies that are listening, I would suggest that you not do this, be aggressive, pointing a finger in a man's face, because some men are not going to care and they're going to take this as what they would take this as if a man was doing the exact same thing. Women like this live in a fantasy land as if they can defeat a man. Meanwhile, the laws and the systems put into place to protect them are the only things that save them. Now, Jordan Peterson actually talked about the importance of a father's discipline, but how some mothers go out their way to undermine them.
I've seen within my own extended family where every time the father attempted to involve himself in the discipline, let's say, which is really the attention and regulation of his son, his wife would, in small ways and not so small, interfere in a rather punitive manner, treating her husband as if his interaction, his involvement was inappropriate, ignorant, and dangerous, something like that combination. And my experience with that has been that what men usually do in that situation is pull away. And that's really devastating for the kids.
And it's a damn shame when that happens, because if it's not the father that's providing that structure and checking the son, then it's going to increase the likelihood that he may get checked by the court system or the streets. Now, as I look down in the comment section of this video, my faith in humanity is restored to a degree. Adolph says, she's wrong. Dad handled that way better than I would have. HTX Mall, looks like it's a lady, says, I'm a boy mom and a girl mom, and I'm 100% on the father's side, because the same way I'd be snatching up a boy out of my daughter's bed, I'd expect someone to snatch my son up out of their daughter's bed. We need more parents like that. We ain't doing none of them teen parent shit around here. Teach your son to stay the F out of girls' beds, especially in houses that your son doesn't live in. Facts. Single mother behavior. Shaking my head. No wonder his dad ran away. This comment right here is damn near poetry in motion. The exact same way that she's addressing this man is the exact same way that she addressed the young boy's father. Meanwhile, she's gonna go back with her homegirls and gloat about how she was able to protect her son husband by any means necessary, and what she would have done had this grown man, infinitely stronger than her, was about to catch the beats from her. Completely absurd. But she doesn't live in reality, while not realizing that she's robbing this man of the opportunity to face consequences in a controlled environment before he's an official adult. And just to drive this post home, I went and took a look at some research articles online that speak about the father's impact on child development. Now, feel free to stop the page if you want to take a look at when a father is involved and all the benefits of that. But let's take a look at the research of a father's absent. According to Psychology Today, researchers have found these narratives to be true. The results of father's absence on children are nothing short of disastrous along a number of dimensions. Child's diminished self-concept and compromised physical activity and emotional security. Children consistently report feeling abandoned when their fathers are not involved in their lives, struggling with their emotions and episodic bouts of self-loathing. And while the sense of abandonment is devastating for young boys, it could be catastrophic for young girls, hence why there's so many women without fathers that are twirling the pole. Anyway, behavioral problems, right? We know that. Truancy and poor academic performance. 71% of high school dropouts are fatherless. What? Delinquency and youth crime, including violent crime. 85% of youths in prison have an absent father. Really? Promiscuity and teen pregnancy. Drug and alcohol abuse. Fatherless children are more likely to smoke, drink alcohol, and abuse drugs in childhood and adulthood. Homelessness. 90% of runaway children have an absent father. 90%. Exploitation and abuse. Fatherless children are at a greater risk of suffering physical, emotional, and abuse, being 5 times more likely to have experienced physical abuse and emotional maltreatment. And the list goes on. So when you read all of that and then you go think about the behavior of this young man who lacks discipline, doesn't have a respect for authority, and a mother lightweight defending his actions by pointing a finger of the way that the father removed the son from the household, it's setting an incredibly bad tone. And then also instinctually, anytime that he gets in trouble, he call him mama, reducing his ability to critically think, reducing his ability to be a leader to a worthwhile young lady, and reducing his ability to be accountable, because the mama is allowing this. But it goes both ways, that fathers are not only important in their son lives, but pivotal to their daughter lives as well.
3 things I learned raising daughters. First time I found out we were having a little girl, I went to 2 people for advice. The first person was my wife, Tina, because she's a girl. Figured she might know some things. She did. Second person was a guy I knew in the military who was, well, putting it mildly, probably the biggest man whore I'd ever met in my life. So I went to him and said, how do I protect my daughter from someone like you? And being a good sport, he smiled and said, well, tell your daughter you love her, because if you don't, someone who doesn't will, and she'll believe him. So armed with this wisdom, I attempted to do 3 things with raising my daughters. One was make sure they always knew that daddy loved them, that daddy would tell them the truth, and that no matter what, they could tell daddy the truth. And I find what this helped create was young women that had a high expectation for love, respect, and honesty. And that goes a long way from preventing the wrong sort of guy from getting a foothold. Also, I taught them how to shoot, just in case.
Stripping the father out of the household has done a number on the black community today. And instead of addressing the real consequences to doing that, we tell women like this that they don't need no man. They are strong, independent queens, and they treat their significant others like shit to the extent that they end up leaving them alone. We should definitely stop doing that. That has been your video for today. Guys, now it's up to you. Do you agree with the way that I've summarized this content? Give me your comments down below whether or not you agree or you disagree. Did I miss anything? Let me know. Last but not least, I have a men's self-development community. If you are interested, link to in the description box down below. Click in, beam up, and I will see you soon. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.